Hold up, you won't believe what went down on Love Hip Hop Atlanta. Scrappy, once a star of the show, completely lost it, and it ended up costing him everything. A heated argument with Chaos escalated way too quickly, and bam, the producer's zero-tolerance policy kicked in, getting him booted off the show. But here's the big question, was it all real? Or just another twisted reality show moment? What really happened behind the cameras? Let's dive in.
So wait,
You know what your problem is?
I ain't got no problem, man.
For years, fans have followed Lil Scrappy's turbulent journey on Love Hip Hop Atlanta, watching his ups and downs with his family, relationships, and career. However, no one could have anticipated the day when Scrappy's own actions would lead to his dramatic fall from grace. Known for his fiery temper and loyalty to those close to him, Scrappy had always been a mainstay on the show. But it all came crashing down during a particularly heated dispute with a fellow cast member, someone notorious for stirring chaos and making bold statements. This cast member, who was known for his disorganized ways and unapologetic behavior, had never hesitated to voice his opinions. However, what began as a minor disagreement quickly spiraled out of control. Insults were exchanged, and what should have been a simple argument turned into a full-blown altercation. Scrappy, infamous for his short fuse, reached his breaking point almost immediately. A shocking outburst, Scrappy threatened his co-star in a manner that was not just aggressive, but downright dangerous. His tone was menacing, and his words left no room for misinterpretation. Behind the cameras, the tension was palpable as everyone in the room froze, in disbelief at what was happening. This wasn't just another scripted drama for the cameras. Scrappy had crossed a line, and the producers, who were stunned by the violence they had witnessed, had no choice but to intervene. Although reality TV thrives on drama, Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, like all shows, has limits. The producer's zero-tolerance policy on violence and threats kicked in immediately. Scrappy's actions sealed his fate. Decision was swift, and despite being a fixture of the show since its inception, Scrappy found himself out of a job. It wasn't an immediate dismissal, but when it came, it was swift and final. Scrappy had been a core part of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, using the platform to showcase his music, personal life, and complex family dynamics. Now, all of that was at risk due to one reckless moment. The producers had to carefully consider the impact on the show's reputation and the safety of the cast and crew before making their decision. When the news broke, fans were divided. Some were furious with Scrappy for letting his temper get the best of him, ruining his career in the process, while others were just as upset with the show for acting so quickly, calling it an overreaction. Scrappy's firing wasn't just about losing screen time, it was a harsh lesson in the cost of unchecked rage. In the days that followed his dismissal, Scrappy remained silent, processing the consequences of his actions. His public persona had always been one of confidence, but behind closed doors, the fallout was undeniable. He hadn't just damaged his image, he'd put his entire career in jeopardy. Meanwhile, his co-star, Chaos, continued on as usual, seemingly unaffected by the drama, though the tension between them lingered. The show went on without Scrappy, and for the first time in years, he wasn't the center of attention. It was a bitter pill to swallow, but the lesson was clear. The same fiery temper that had once fueled his success was now a major obstacle to his future. Losing his spot on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta marked a turning point, and Scrappy's journey would never be the same again.
Probably went too hard or something, took something the wrong way or something like that, you know? So I want to say, I'm sorry to Khaotic, you know?
We're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere.
We're not. Cause I can give a Cause let me tell you something. When a go with me and he feel like I'm not a good person, I feel the same way Khaotic feels. So we on the same page.
no, but he does not feel that way.
He just said it. He said, hey, if you feel like I'm not a good person in your life,
No.
then you need to stay like that and I'm gonna
He
stay
said
like
you're a
that.
good
And we gonna stand on it.
No.
Let's stand on it.
No.
He gonna stand on it.
No, he does not. Stop. He did not say that.
What I said was, if you feel like I'm a bad person to you, then
Okay, but this is not about that right now. This is about you. How do you feel about him?
I never said I had a problem with him.
No, this what he do. This what he do. He say something crazy and he be like, oh, I ain't got no beef. I ain't got no stuff.
Khaotic always try to play a victim. He'll start some then he want to be like, I don't want no beef, man. If you got an issue, stand on it. If not, sit down and shut up, bro.
At the end of the day, like I said, bro, it don't even really matter.
Cuz gonna try to goddamn, he want everybody like, oh my God.
No, because we're so grown, we can really make an assessment
problem is?
I ain't got no problem, man. I'll beat your ass.
You had a million times to do it.
Why you
You get on TV to do it.
Why you
You're a TV man.
You a clown.
You got a problem with me.
Keep talking that shit, boy.
Scrappy's relationships on Love Hip Hop Atlanta had always been full of ups and downs. But nothing could have prepared anyone for the day his own behavior led to his fall from grace. It all began with a particularly heated argument with a Khaotic cast member, known for his brash attitude and constant willingness to stir the pot. What started as a minor issue quickly escalated when Scrappy and this cast member, Chaos, found themselves at odds. Words were exchanged, insults were hurled, and what should have been a simple disagreement spiraled into a full-blown altercation. Scrappy, infamous for his short fuse, was pushed to his breaking point as the tension skyrocketed. The two men exchanged abrasive words, but it was Scrappy's threats that crossed the line. His tone became dangerous, and his words carried a menacing weight, leaving no room for misinterpretation. This was no longer just another scripted reality TV argument, it was something far more serious. Producers and crew on set were left in shock, realizing that what they had witnessed was not typical drama. A line had been crossed, and Scrappy's actions in that moment of rage would ultimately seal his fate. His threats against Chaos went beyond words, marking a turning point in his career.
He the one who called me out my name, disrespecting me, talking gangster. I never talked gangster. I never threatened him. I don't play no victim. I just don't do all that fake gangster talking and all that there. You came at me talking gangster. First of all,
Love Hip Hop Atlanta had a strict zero-tolerance policy when it came to threats and violence. While reality television thrived on chaos and drama, there were always boundaries, and Scrappy's explosive outburst had clearly crossed them. It didn't take long for the decision-makers to act. Scrappy, one of the show's most recognizable faces, found himself out of a job. Though his firing wasn't immediate, it was swift, following careful consideration of the potential damage to the show's reputation and the safety of the cast and crew. For Scrappy, this was a devastating blow. He had been with Love Hip Hop Atlanta since its inception, and the show had played a pivotal role in his career. It provided a platform for him to showcase his music, his personal life, and his complicated family dynamics. Now, all of that was in jeopardy because of a single moment of weakness. As the news broke, fans were divided. Some were furious with Scrappy for losing his temper and creating unnecessary drama, while others felt disappointed at how quickly the show had taken action. This incident underscored the fine line reality stars walk between entertainment and the real-life consequences of their actions. Scrappy, the firing was more than just the end of a television role. It was a harsh reminder of the cost of his unchecked anger. In the days following his dismissal, Scrappy stayed silent, taking time to reflect on his actions. His public persona had always been one of confidence and bravado. But behind the scenes, the weight of what had happened began to settle in. He had hurt himself, and in doing so, he had jeopardized his career. Meanwhile, Chaos remained unaffected by the fallout, continuing to appear on the show. The lingering tension between him and Scrappy, however, was impossible to ignore. The show continued without Scrappy, and for the first time in years, the spotlight was no longer on him. For Scrappy, the lesson was brutal but necessary. The anger that had once fueled his rise now stood in the way of his future.